So I saw Out of Furnace, and it's not a movie that I was particularly looking forward to, but I decided to check it out anyway, and there is something here. Like, as far as this movie goes, like, there is something here. And for like maybe the first act, I was able to enjoy it as here's a look at people in this kind of town and something that you don't see kind of often, living a life that you're not necessarily aware of. And I thought this movie was going to be about just kind of just living in this kind of environment. And the movie's about Christian Bale, who's kind of just like in this really poor town. He works at a mill, and it's just very, very just dark and dank and just dirty. But some of the people are too. But it's just like that's the way of life. His brother, played by Casey Affleck, is kind of just like this veteran coming back from the war, and he's kind of weary and he can't really find proper work, and he does not want to work at the mill. And then you have other good supporting characters. Willem Dafoe plays, I guess, some kind of betting guy. Zoe Saldana plays Christian Bale's girlfriend. Forrest Whitaker plays a cop, and just there are all these separate characters, but something happens, and then there's kind of a time skip, and then you kind of just find all these people in kind of just different places that one event leads to another, and just it gets very, very messy for everyone and pretty dark. And because of something that Woody Harrelson comes in at some point, and he's pretty much the big bad of the movie, and something that he does that's like really crappy kind of just triggers a bunch of other events, and that's when the movie finds its plot. And I think that's probably where the movie's problem started. Woody Harrelson's character is kind of like into this whole fighting, betting thing. Like, he'll hire fighters to lose on purpose, even though he could probably make his money by betting on them to win. But whatever. And then kind of Casey Affleck kind of gets involved with that, and the deal kind of goes a little sour. So yeah, and it kind of just ends up being this revenge movie, and the first half of the movie works because you could always feel like you knew what Christian Bale was thinking because you're primarily following him. You feel for him as a character, you sympathize with him as a character. But in the second half, when he's kind of just tailing Woody Harrelson and all these things, it's just, I felt like the more the movie went on, I wasn't always sure what he was thinking. Like, I knew what his end goal was, but it was just like the way he did things, why he did things, why he kind of dragged certain things out, I wasn't always sure. And all that kind of just leads to a rather odd climax of where it was kind of just one of those, why are you dragging this out? Like, I don't understand. And then the movie kind of just ends, but then it comes back on to just show you one last shot of something, and then the director's name comes up. So by the end of the movie, I was kind of just like, what? But Out of the Furnace, like, for its pluses, very great performances all around. Kind of thematically pretty heavy, so just know what you're getting into. I would probably recommend this more for people who are just like into Christian Bale, like you want to see this guy act, because he gives a pretty good performance. And on that regard, I can recommend it. And I really did enjoy the first half of this movie. It's just like, hey, this is how some people live, and it's something that you wouldn't really exactly be aware of. So I kind of appreciated the movie for shining a light at that kind of thing. But once the revenge plot kind of just kicks in, the movie just kind of loses me, and it feels very understated. Like, the whole movie feels understated, but I was kind of with it initially, and then it was kind of just like I fell out of the car, and the movie just kind of lost me, and I'm just like, hey, where are you going? So, that is my review of Out of Furnace.